you're a follower of Jesus, I need you to listen to me. God is going to change our attitude whether we like it or not. And he's going to do it in a variety of different ways. Because even though our faith has been secured, and even though we've been told that because of our salvation has been secured because of our faith, that does not mean that God looks at us and says, well, you're struggling with obedience or you're struggling with learning, and therefore, as a direct result, you're not really letting me have control and guidance over your life, and you're continuing to make a bunch of mistakes, and I think I need to really change this attitude in you. And so he does. He comes along and he changes things. The writer of Hebrews had something to say about this. So if you are a follower of Jesus and you have ever experienced God's discipline, listen to what these guys had to say to us, okay? Hebrews chapter 12, verses 5 through 11. Have you ever forgotten the encouraging words God spoke to you as his children? He said, my child, don't make light of the Lord's discipline and don't give up when he corrects you. For the Lord disciplines those he loves, and he punishes each one he accepts as his child. As you endure this divine discipline, remember that God is treating you as his own children. Who ever heard of a child who was never disciplined by its father? If God doesn't discipline you as he does all of his children, it means you are illegitimate and are not really his children at all. Since we respected our earthly fathers who disciplined us, shouldn't we submit even more to the discipline of the Father of our spirits and live forever? For our earthly fathers disciplined us for a few years doing the best they knew how, but God's discipline is always good for us so that we might share in his holiness. No discipline is enjoyable while it is happening. It's painful. But afterward, there will be a peaceful harvest of right living for those who were trained in this way. Again, maybe you've been one of those kids who have experienced God's divine discipline in your life. And you know how he can do that. Now, maybe you've had an abusive father or an absent dad. So therefore, it is super hard for you to be able to look through a lens at God as a father and not see the tragedy or the experiences that you have had. Listen, I don't know of any dad who hasn't blown it when it comes to disciplinary mistakes with their kids, including myself. But it is entirely unfair to categorize God, our creator, and lump him in with us knuckleheads. And so when we do that, we need to understand that that is not right. God has never made a disciplinary mistake with us, ever. Yet our fathers have. But he hasn't. And his ultimate desire, and the thing that he wants the most when he brings this discipline into our life, is so that it will change us to create righteous living. Followers, you need to know that. The part of that discipline is God's way of saying, I love you. And I need you to change, because there's a lot at stake here. Now, if you are not a follower of Jesus, you need to hear me here. Here's how God's discipline connects to you. You see, what God's plan is this. What he wants to do is train up those of us who are followers so that we become like him. And while he is still working on some of us, there are some who have already been trained. And what he is trying to do is reach you through those who have already been trained so that you will understand how much that God loves you by the way that we treat you. And you will know that we are doing a good job of it when we can finally come to a place and to a point when we are ready to say the same thing that our leader and our master said, which is, I am willing to die for you if need be. And so if you are not a follower of Jesus, you really need to realize that while God is disciplining us, he is trying to reach out to you, and he is trying to change us so that we will be able to say the same thing that Jesus did, which is, so will I, to every single thing that God has ever given to us to do. And that when we sing a song like what you sang earlier where it says, everything I am for the kingdom's cause, it would mean that we push all that we are into the middle of the table for the purpose of reaching the world that Jesus so loves. And then until we get to a place where we are willing to die for you, then I don't blame you for not believing that there is a God who is real. The burden is not on you, it's on us. And so as a follower of Jesus, let me say, on behalf of all of those who are followers, if you are not a follower yet, we need to try harder.